Hi, hello. Welcome back. I'm in Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has a hotline. All righty. And it's already happening, and we don't even know who's running for governor. And this is the kind of stuff, it happened last time. Jay Darden and Angel. Knife sent it to Vitter. That was the big key for Edwards winning. They think Edwards just won. People just loved him. But none of that happened. None of that happened. The only thing they can hope for is that it repeats itself. It looked like it's repeating itself before Kennedy gets in the race. Mark ballot. And this is the kind of stories they're going to do. This is the kind of stories the Advocate, 100% pro-Bell Edwards. Who's the guy that owns the Advocate, ran for governor 22 times?
Georges?
He was a Republican. He was a Democrat. He was independent. No telling what he is now. John George. That's him. And they've got behind, they hated Vitter, so they got behind Edwards. They really were behind Scott Argel, but anyway, it's a long story. They ain't going all that. So you know they're going to be pounding anybody gets in the way. And I told y'all this is coming. From Jim Beam to Gannett Papers to the Advocate to the Times-Picayune, it's going to be the pro-Edwards group. They're ready to go. Okay. Today, Mark Ballard, or should I say yesterday, here's the headline. Senator John Kennedy may be gearing up for running Louisiana governor, but will GOP support him? That's not making it up. That's the headlines. Well, one of the things they're talking about is, and they show a picture of Mike Pence, and to the right of Mike Pence is a guy by the name of Lane Grigsby. I know like Mr. Grigsby, I know him, big businessman, but he plays into politics, and he usually supports the conservative. He's the one that Mr. Ed Rispone, who I hadn't met, I'm looking forward to it, helping to fund, to help him, to talk him to get in the race. So they do an article, and Grigsby hammers Kennedy. Kennedy hadn't passed any legislation yet, a snippet that no doubt will be the theme of a good many commercials in the coming months should he decide to challenge re-election John Bell Edwards, Grigsby told the Advocate. Grigsby supports his friend and fellow businessman Eddie Rispone. By the way, I don't know him, and me, I'm going to let them all come on. Louisiana needs leadership, not another politician looking for another lily pad. He hasn't done much yet but appear on Fox News. Now, this is a guy, Brandon, that I'm telling you plays into politics with lots of money, and he's already beaten up Kennedy from the Republican side. And look, Grigsby wants to play, so let's play. How dumb is that, Mr. Grigsby? The goal is to go beat Edwards. The goal is not to beat Kennedy or Rispone for that matter. The goal is to beat the one-term governor. But here we go, folks. Here we go. Lane Grigsby, a big player with money because he has money. I wish I had more money than Lane. We would see who could outspin each other, but I don't have it. Kennedy sat in Grigsby's office recently. I'd known about this, not from John because other people had told me. Recently, I had a contractor told him that Louisiana would be better off if the junior senator stayed in Washington and accumulated power. Kennedy basically told him, I'm doing what I want to do. And Grigsby didn't like it. Who the hell died and left Lane Grigsby, head of the Republicans for that matter, head of the state of Louisiana? Who left Lane Grigsby ahead of it? Nobody that I know of. But this is what happens. And this is why Democrats get away with what they get away with, because Republicans like Lane Grigsby. You know, Kennedy's not running against Rispone, and Rispone shouldn't be running against Kennedy. We know what the problem is Bell Edwards. $7 billion in new taxes, and we still not fixed anything. We got out-migration still going on. We're not creating the jobs. The only reason we're creating jobs is because the national economy is pulling us up.
Whenever we have some fog, like we've had this morning. Yeah.
Grigsby wanted him not to run, and he said, I'll determine when I'm going to run if I want to run.
Yeah.
Grigsby said his family has given more than $3 million to mostly Republican candidates from every level. See, he spent $3 million, so he think he gets to make the call on who gets to run and who doesn't run. And I don't know if Kennedy's running. Rispone may be the next governor. I know this. You can't have Republicans going to the pro-Edwards press saying stuff like this. And here comes Lane Grigsby going. They know he's a money guy. And this is the same thing that I see on the Edwards side. Well, we got these Republicans that are for us. Yeah, Jay Darden type Republicans, Julie Stokes type Republicans, leftist Republicans. This is what's so frustrating. Here come Grigsby and the Advocate. Listen, we know this from the John McCain deal. The leftist press loves a Republican that will beat up a Republican that they don't like. And the people in the press don't like Kennedy. Why don't they like Kennedy? But they love Jay Dart. Love the little bitty worm. They love the little wimp. A man has accomplished nothing. I mean, accomplished nothing. But they love him. And he's the one running the state, not Edwards. Jay Darn's running the state. That's why we got $7 billion in new taxes. He's a tax and spend liberal. He's proved it. I've tried to tell people that. But look what Lane Grigsby's doing. He's starting in already, and that's my big beef with these people. They're starting in already, and the goal can't be beat Kennedy. The goal has to be beat Edwards. Edwards has put the state back 10 years, and Darden, they put this state back for 10 years. And there come Lane Grigsby. Mr. Grigsby, I've met him a couple times. Here come Lane Grigsby because he got $3 million and he gave Republicans. So he told Kennedy not to run, and Kennedy told him basically, take a living hike. I'll run if I want to run. And he has a right to run if he wants to run. So what the headlines? Grigsby just did what the John McCain used to do. And Jay Darden's done. He's given headlines for the press, the pop Republicans, and look at the other Republicans as being the good guy. You know, Julie Stokes. Jim Beam wrote an article today about the election, Brandon, Sunday, and you know what came out? Julie Stokes really qualified for this job. He was naming all the candidates. Really qualified. Because he loves the leftist Republicans. They all love leftist Republicans. And Lane Grigsby, who's give $3 million to Republicans, well, Grigsby's not supporting him. Grigsby's not supporting him. And Grigsby, because he has spent money, has influence on other Republicans. Probably the same ones that voted for Edwards. Grigsby gave $3 million. He gave another $371,000, almost $372,000 to congressional candidates during the past year, and more than $150 in various funds for U.S. House Majority Whip Steve Scalise. Grigsby is the member of the construction contracting fraternity that, along with the Lafourche Parish shipbuilder, which he's got to be talking about Bollinger, gave Bobby Jindal and David Vitter Monday. By the way, Brandon, I found out that the guy that hired David Vitter when they wanted to do the Constitutional Convention, guess who it was? Lane Grigsby. So, here we go. Here we go already. Nobody even knows who's running. We know Mr. Raspone's in. And we got a Republican that the press is going to love because he's already ripping John Kennedy. And Lane, I got news for you. The Advocate needs no help in ripping Republicans and John Kennedy. That's what they do. They just like the press and Washington Post and CNN and everybody else. And yet you're going to give them information like that. And it's pitiful and it's sad. And Lane, I'll be honest with you, there's out migration going on. Maybe you ought to take a hike with it. We'll be back.